I've noticed my husband openly admiring other women's style. Women will dress very differently from me. More fitted, more trendy, more flashy, I guess. He'll comment casually like, she's really stylish. She looks really nice. She's really hot. He's not disrespectful, but enough that I notice, enough that I feel it. I don't feel insecure about who I am in my style, but I don't want to ignore my husband's thoughts either. Is staying true to myself enough, or staying true to my style enough if it doesn't seem to catch the eye of the one I love anymore? If your shoes don't fit, you don't change your fit. You change the shoes. So why change yourself to fit the expectations that are forced on you? Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Élever with Mama Kesh, a space where style, story and soul come together to help you elevate into the person you are becoming. I am Mama Kesh, your host, and in today's episode, it's going to be another mama note. We're just going to dive into it and read it and digest it together. Dear Mama Kesh, I need your perspective because I am feeling torn and honestly a little unsettled. I am a wife and I am confident in who I am. Confident in my style. I've worked hard enough to feel comfortable in my body and in my skin. Also in how I show up. I don't dress for attention. I dress for alignment. And most days, I love that about myself. But lately, I've noticed my husband openly admiring other women's style. Women will dress very different from me. More fitted, more trendy, more flashy. He'll comment casually like, she's really stylish. That really looks nice. That is quite hot. Not disrespectful, but it's enough that I noticed and enough that I feel it. And now, even though I'm still very in sync with my style, my personal style, I started questioning myself. Should I switch things up? Should I evolve my look to be more like what he seems to now admire? Is staying true to myself enough if it doesn't seem to catch his eye anymore? I don't feel insecure in who I am, but I don't want to ignore my partner's thoughts either. I'm caught between self-confidence, self-doubt, and respect for my own partner's opinion. I don't know which voice to listen to, so help. Let's dive into that. So today's question is really just going to be around if I am confident in myself or if you're confident in yourself, why will your partner admiring something different make you question yourself? And first of all, let me start by saying this. So sis, the fact that you're confident in yourself and still questioning yourself does not mean that your confidence is fragile, really. It just means that you're human and you're open to evolving, and which is something great. The other thing to note really is that the fact that your partner is admiring someone else's style doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't like your style anymore or thinks that your style is lacking. Really, it just means that he has eyes, first thing, and then it also just means that variety exists. Let's really think about it, right? Style is really rooted in personalities, and if everyone tends to carry their own style based on their own personality or is rooted in their personality, they tend to shine in it. And of course, we would admire things that would see. It doesn't necessarily mean that he admiring someone else's style translates necessarily to, or he would prefer you to look a certain way. That's the first thing first. It's just like how you might walk into an art gallery and look at the art, admire it, but you're not necessarily wanting to have that art on your wall at home, right? That's another thing. But I would say give yourself grace first and acknowledge the fact that if you're questioning yourself, that really just means you're open to evolving, and then you can take it from there. But there's a deeper question you really want to answer or ask yourself if you choose to ask yourself. So if you decide to change, are you doing that because you want to evolve, or are you doing that because you want to become more desirable to the one you care or love? Really, the answer to that question is going to depend on how you want to pivot. And it's going to really depend on if you're out for evolution, if you're out for growth, or if you're just out to just please someone else but yourself. And I would really hope that it's grounded more in growth than it would be in trying to please someone else first. And I'm not saying this to say that if you are evolving, you cannot evolve to actually please your significant other. That's really not what I'm saying. But with style, you really want it to be rooted in the fact that you are firstly open to growth. And again, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that anything is wrong with your style. It just means that you want to maybe try something different. You want to explore. But first of all, you should want that for yourself first. But again, before we jump over, I would really say start off with a conversation, right? Really, let's just go back to talking. I know we say that a lot. Have a conversation. But as time goes, conversations become harder. But I'll say before jumping into conclusions, just have the conversation and ask your partner, well, I've seen you admiring different styles that really doesn't resonate with the way my style is or the way I look. Do you think that I need some kind of evolution in my style? Just ask the question so that way you first of all have your mind settled, because you don't really want to run around with an assumption and start building on that. You really want to avoid that. So that's the first thing first. So we're going to take it personal here, and I'll tell you about my own personal story with this topic or with this question. So in my early 20s, early as a millennial in the 2000s, what was popping at the time were really bandage dresses, skimpy dresses, and I really used to love dressing in those, right? I really used to love any teenager at that time. Well, I think I was in my early 20s, but any young lady at the time or the it girls were really rocking those. And then one day my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, actually told me, you know what, I think you should wear jeans or denim more. Denim and a white tee or denim and a white shirt. And at the time I was like, bro, what are you talking about? All the it girls are out here wearing bandage dresses and you're asking me to wear denim and shirts. And I just wasn't feeling it. Because cut the whole story short, I just wasn't feeling it. But fun fact, about a week after he told me that, he goes out to buy me a pair of denim, and it was really good quality denim. And I ended up keep having that pair of denim for about 7 years because I really wore it that well. But what actually happened is I evolved in my style by myself. And right now, one of my signature pieces is actually denim and a white shirt, or denim and a shirt, or denim and something. Denim in general, I love them, and I'm actually wearing it right now. So just to say that although my partner actually voiced out a thought about what he thought my style could really evolve into, it did not really click until I decided to evolve for myself. And in my case, it's different because my partner actually voiced something out. In your case, your partner hasn't said anything, so you don't want to assume. That's the first thing. You want to go back, ask the question. Well, you've seen him admiring other women's style recently. What does that really mean, for you? And because you're confident in the way you look, just ask him the question. Do not assume. My own story is different, right? It's just to say that your partner can very well have a vision of how your style could evolve without you necessarily getting there yet. And years down the line, like I said, my signature look became denim with shirts. I really love denim cups. I will wear them in different shapes, in different textures, in different coupes, all of that. But again, it came from me, right? I have white shirts. I think I have white shirts in different shapes, but everyone's going to think it's the same shirt. But no, it's really not. But again, it's just to say, your style can very well evolve with input from your significant other. However, it has to come from you first. It has to come from your own journey for your own wish to evolve, and not necessarily someone pushing you towards something that's not really your style. So you should be open to evolving is all I'm really saying. But at the same time, again, do not assume, ask the right questions, because like I said, style really exists in all varieties and shapes. And again, style is grounded in personalities, right? So anyone that really is rocking their style, which is grounded in their personality, is really going to look good in it, and people are going to like it, right? Again, like I said, it could just be like an piece of artwork that you admire without necessarily wanting it to come into your home. So just ask the right questions and be open to evolving if you want to evolve. That's the main thing first. And again, like I said, in my own story, an input from my significant other I actually picked up that input years down the line. I'll tell you that it didn't even come immediately. Yes, I wore the pair of denim he bought me a week later, but it wasn't necessarily my to-go style or my to-go look. But down the years, things evolved, I evolved, and we actually chuckle over it. And he's like, oh, look at who's loving jeans and shirts now. And I'm like, yeah, I just had to grow into it, right? So again, it's conversation. Let the conversation happen, but it should be always grounded in your own evolution or your own growth. So now I'm going to take you guys through a 3 simple step guide to style evolution. And for me, this is really grounded in evolving without erasing yourself, because that's really important. You do not want to erase yourself. So step 1 for me, I'm going to say anchor. Know what must stay. So at this point, you want to be identifying your fundamentals, what actually makes your style foundation, because style is really not just adding stuff first. You don't want to start by just adding things, but you want to start by identifying what your anchor really is. What are your fundamentals? What are your non-negotiables? What are the things that must stay that really make you feel you, or make you feel seen, or make you feel more comfortable or more confident in yourself? Once you identify those things, you want to anchor on them first, because then that's going to become your foundation to add whatever thing you need to add on it. So those are your non-negotiables. Step 1, find your anchors. Step 2, I'm going to say explore and add without imitation, because you do not want to imitate. What you really want to do is add on the things that are already there that work, right? So step 1 was anchoring or identifying your anchors. Step 2, you just want to explore and add on your anchors. This is where, again, you're not trying to imitate anyone. You're just curious. You're not comparing, but rather you're allowing the things that feel more natural to flow, right? At this stage, anything that is new has to come naturally to you. It doesn't have to feel forced. It doesn't have to feel like you are trying to look like someone else. That's not you. If you feel like you're trying something else that's making you feel that way, just let it go, sis. That's not really what you want. So start identifying the new things that are beginning to speak to you, or maybe things like newer silhouettes, newer colors, a different kind of femininity. I'll actually say that, because a good example is, the truth is, we all women have different types of feminine energy. That's really just the truth, right? So maybe you might have identified a different femininity energy that maybe resonates with you and you want to try. That's totally fine too as well. But again, like I said, it has to be natural. It doesn't have to feel forced. And a very simple, basic example is the color red, for example. I'm going to use myself. Before, I would not put red on my nails. I would tell you that. Not on my nails, not on my lips. I used to feel like it was a very strong color. And then I had a friend tell me, you just haven't found the right red yet. And when you do, girl, you will love it. And she was right. I really started wearing red more in the last few years. I actually, clothing wise, it has always been a color I like putting on my body, but as accessory wise or things like aesthetics or cosmetology, I rarely used to try it. And now I got red nails, red lips, everything, and I love it. So again, it might be a new form of femininity. If you want to try it, go ahead and try it, but it has to feel natural. The third thing I'm going to say is, or the third step would be integrate. Make it yours. So what happens is when true evolution really happens, the new has to blend seamlessly with what is already existing. If you're not integrating, then there's going to be a mismatch. Again, it's going to go back to your anchors. That's why you want to start by really identifying your anchors, your non-negotiables, so that when you get to step 3, where you start blending, it should really be seamless, in all honesty. So these new things are not going to feel forced. They're not going to feel unannounced. They're going to pop up more naturally, and you're going to bask better in it. So integration really would look like maybe wearing a new piece a new way, or a same piece a new way. That as well can really happen. It might be just you trusting your already existing staples and wearing them in a different way, but it also might be integrating new colors into your already existing palette, really. So a final thing is, if you choose to evolve, make sure that you do it in the most natural way. First of all, it should come from you. It should not be forced by your fear of getting a raise in the eyes of your significant other. You do not want that. Or even in the eyes of people, you really do not want that. It should come from yourself. And these 3 steps of, number 1, anchoring, number 2, exploring, and number 3, integrating. So again, before changing anything in your style game, just really ask yourself, is this evolution or is it me just surrendering? And again, do not assume. Ask the right questions to your significant other. Evolution is okay. We can all evolve. Insight from the people we love can always be great. As we grow to learn, and mirroring the things that really just make us feel better from the ones that we love is always a great way of growing too as well. So do not conclude, just ask the right questions first. And again, it sounds like you're open to evolving. If you are, follow the 3 simple steps and you should be on your path of just growing and getting more grounded into your style game. So before changing anything, go ahead and ask yourself, is this evolution or is this surrender? Because the right change never asks you to disappear, but rather allows you to grow on your own terms. And remember, your style is not meant to keep anyone interested forever. It's rather meant to allow you stay anchored. And the most magnetic thing you can ever wear is self-trust and confidence. So stay elevated and stay confident. Until next time,